Welcome to the Welsh Yogi podcast.
Okay, so here's another episode of Welsh Yogi podcast.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prema, Gopal, Sarah, special guest, and Pali. And
I think it's episode 120
Oh my god. Wow.
now,
120.
possibly. It's quite a big number.
And last time we had Sarah on, we talked about Ayurveda quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we never caught up about that.
Yeah, I really
How
like.
did the Gopal challenge go?
I was going to film myself doing it, but I really like the ghee nose drops.
It wasn't ghee, but yeah.
What was
The
it?
sesame oil.
Sesame oil.
Yeah.
Using the wrong
Okay,
thing.
good. Well, no, I thought it was like cow urine or something, and I was like, oh well, she told me to do it.
Yeah,
But,
must do it.
but sesame oil, okay, that's a bit better.
With like spices and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
Nice.
That was at the start of the year, I think, right?
Yeah, that was like
One of the first episodes we did.
because we were talking about like a new year, new me type thing. And then you said something quite interesting. You said like the winter is one of the worst times to actually do some sort of like challenge to reinvent yourself or to start something new.
Yeah.
You were saying like spring or something
Spring
is
is
a
the
better time.
time, yeah.
So
Did you start in spring?
I've started a few things in spring.
Yeah, Gopal's done well.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing like exercises and stuff
Oh, amazing.
now and then. A little like I've started my back to Shastri course.
Jai.
You're off the. You're kind of off the screen now. Is that where you want to be?
I just want to see you guys.
Okay.
Sorry, we still got to work out the. I think when we have two cameras, then we can sit like 2-2 and have two facing either way. But anyway, we're
Get another
developing.
camera, Prema.
We're developing.
Okay, so Pali, do you want to start us off? We're reading Science of Self-Realisation.
Yeah, we're at the tail end of the book.
You move in a bit, Pali.
Right.
Cozy.
Come on, we're all friends there.
Yeah, that's great.
Alrighty.
We'll have to share.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Was that the start of the podcast, or are we going to start again?
No, that's fine. We always do that.
Yeah.
Right. Alrighty. So jumping in.
What drew you to go for this today? What's the theme?
Basically, I was inspired on. So we have a ladies' reading group on Mondays, and we chip our way through all of Srila Prabhupada's little books. So we're at the tail end of Science of Self-Realisation now. And as I was just reading it, I was like, this is the most amazing stuff I've ever heard. And they tell you it's ever fresh. And I was experiencing that. And I just thought every paragraph was just absolutely amazing. And I just thought, do you know what? It's really nice just to reread those same books that initially got you into Krishna consciousness, because there's a reason they attracted you. The language is so simple, the concepts explained so beautiful. And yeah, even just this, every sentence is just like stunning. So this is the beginning of that little chapter. It's just 3 sentences.
This is chapter, the human form of life is meant for God realization, right?
Yeah. And
What does someone have to do if they want to be part of the ladies' book?
They just have to, they can just send us
Be
a
a lady.
message. We'll get you
Be a lady.
hooked
Step
up.
1.
So yeah, this is the beginning of that. This is Srila Prabhupada's words. So today's subject is our relationship with
God.
God.
Shall I get you a book as well?
Is there one around me?
No.
I could do a little run.
It's okay. I'll just listen.
Just listen. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
There's a book there called The Wild Garden.
This bookshelf's turning into a bit of a haberdashery, I will say.
Okay, let's go.
Right. Today's subject is our relationship with God. That is self-realization. The Sankirtan movement is the easiest process for self-realization because it cleanses the heart. Our misunderstanding of our identity is due to the dust covering the mirror of the mind. In a mirror that is covered with dust, one cannot see himself. But if it is very clear, then one can see himself. So meditation is a process for cleansing the heart. Meditation means to try to understand one's relationship with the Supreme. So I just thought that was stunning, because when I remember reading this, and I was involved with, I was doing a lot of yoga at the time, and the devotees that were kind of teaching me Krishna consciousness, made it very clear and very easy that actually the purpose of yoga is, the purpose of these asanas and the purpose of having a calm mind and a regulated lifestyle is, there's a purpose to that. It's not just that's the be all and end all and whatever. So it's so you can actually start to cultivate a genuine spiritual practice and ultimately realize that Krishna is the supreme. That's the goal of yoga. And I had no complaints with that. I thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense. There's like a goal to this process. And anyway, because obviously we've all read this same thing. And in those early days, I'm just wondering what everyone's thoughts are on this particular topic.
I mean, that's your kind of area as well, isn't it, Sarah? Like all the other stages of yoga, but you're leading people towards the highest stage.
What, like in Ayurveda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Because I guess like Ayurveda in and of itself is not necessarily like a spiritual science, but it does have a spiritual aspect towards it. And like we understand, your mind, your body and your spirit, and like the ultimate goal of actually purifying the body is to, achieve liberation and achieve those essentially like the goal of life. And so Ayurveda does understand that, but we're also, on a spiritual path, you can't necessarily neglect the physical body. And sometimes we can get very fixated on like the spiritual path that we bypass the physical needs of our body. Whereas Ayurveda, the intention of Ayurveda and yoga was, yoga is a spiritual science. It teaches us how to, connect back to our truest identity as a spirit soul and connect back to God. And so that's the path of yoga, whereas Ayurveda is all about how to improve our physical well-being. And so, Ayurveda and yoga both come from the Vedas. And so like Ayurveda is like the healthcare system of the Vedas. And when you combine these two systems together, you have like a well-rounded, proper approach to achieving like the real purpose of life. And that's because you can't, if you're living in a diseased body, that's going to distract you from your spiritual practices. So it's like, Ayurveda and yoga really are intended to be practiced together. Yeah. I think I just kind of went off the topic a little bit though.
No, it's actually the same. I mean, it reminds me of exactly like what even this T Krishna project is meant to be, of like, when we sort of market it like that in our cafes, of the sort of mind, body, soul element. But like originally, like, was that Australia or New Zealand, Pali, where you were doing the yoga and they were introducing you, like you said, you were getting into yoga, the asanas. And then, so like there's a lot of places in the world at one time, in like the early 2000s especially, where there was a lot of success with getting people to do follow the yoga path, and then from that come to Krishna, basically. And I think that's the sort of the way that Krishna even sets up society in the Vedas, is like you sort of hop on this path, and wherever you're at, eventually it's meant to lead you to falling in love with Krishna. And so I think it does connect, and this is a nice point, like this is the sort of the element of whether one wants to advance in any aspect of life. Knowing where the goal is sort of helps orientate you very nicely. And I think, and also just like, there's something that happens to your heart when you just hear some solid information about Krishna. Like if you just read an empty yoga book or any other type of book that doesn't connect to Krishna, then there's just a dryness about it. And then just like when just Pali just reading this basic paragraph that many of us, when you just pick up one of Srila Prabhupada's books and you just read for the first time, second time, third time, or even just 10 years, 15, 16 years down the road, then it has this wonderful effect that only connecting with Krishna really has. And you can actually experience, like what Prabhupada's talking about here. This is the real meditation process is cleansing the heart. Meditation means to try to understand one's relationship with the Supreme. And any just little like information, like Prabhupada would say that when you give someone a book and they just read one line of real spiritual knowledge, then their heart becomes cleansed and really their whole sort of like trajectory of life changes. And that's just not true just for someone who just reads it for the first time. That's true for us. That's true for anyone listening. That's true for like devotees or yogis who are regularly reading. Every time you pick up one of these books and hear some solid information about Krishna, then our life gets changed. Even just hearing this paragraph just now is just like lifted my mood.
I just had one point on what you said about the quality changing, or you were saying that when you read other literatures, there's just this dry feeling, but when you read something about Krishna, there's the flavor there. And I was thinking how even activities, if you switch the intention of those activities, then you can experience that. If you connect the activity to Krishna, then you can also experience that activity becomes sweet. Like one may practice yoga without any desire to come closer to, understanding God or, deepening his relationship with Krishna, and they'll get some sort of, feeling from practicing. But when you do the same practice, but with the intention that I'm doing this to go deeper in my relationship with Krishna, then a certain sweetness, like a fragrance, it comes in to the activity. It kind of purifies it.
It's like that. What's that millionaire or like who's trying to live forever? Have you seen him?
Yes.
And he's like
his name
taking
Brian?
taking like blood from his son or something, and like trying
God.
to like. And he has like these products that you can buy. And
Sounds like King Yayati in the.
yeah.
Is that what?
Well, no, this is like a modern
It's
guy.
a real one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other one's real as well, but yeah, this was a. But I remember, I just look at him like, what's the point? If you're gonna live forever, but what's the point? Like he's so into like his health that he has like doctors 24/7, and he watches everything he eats, and the whole purpose of his life is just to live. But he's not really living. So
But that's so true.
what's the point? Like. So similarly, like one can be so into their health or yoga or anything, but without knowing the real purpose of
So true.
why you exist. What's
that nice quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, where it's saying, what's the purpose of a prolonged life? I don't know the full quote.
Yes.
Over to you.
Shukadev Goswami in the first canto. After, do you know his chapter? It's something to do with when he responds to the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. It's his first.
in the second canto?
Oh, maybe.
At the start of the second canto, he says,
Maybe.
what's the point of living long like trees? Or
Yeah, he says, what's the use of a lifetime not... he's
Better
basically
a
making the
moment
point
of
that...
full consciousness.
Yeah, a moment of full consciousness is more valuable than a whole lifetime without, because in that moment one comes closer to realizing his ultimate identity. That's a mega paraphrase, but that's essentially what it means. That just a single moment is more valuable than a whole lifetime.
I was speaking to someone about this yesterday. I don't want to just because you mentioned Maharaj Yati. So Maharaj Yati, he I won't tell the whole story, but basically he was cursed to be old, like very old, and he wanted to still enjoy this world, and he was asking his children, please give me your youth. Give me your youth. And his kids were like, well, what one of the kids, Puru, eventually did. He was so detached from this world that he realized, well, yeah, you can take it. Because what is this world anyway? What's the point? We all just, then it's just a temporary place, and actually the soul's eternal. But one of his sons, Yadu, who was also a great devotee, and that's where Krishna comes in this Yadu line, he was saying, like, Father, I can't give you my youth because the purpose of life, I need to develop my love for Krishna. I need to become self-realized. So, but to do that, I have material desires. I need to engage these material desires in, he was talking about like getting married, doing the whole like family thing, and eventually like living a balanced life. So eventually when I come to the right time and maturity, I naturally feel detached from this world, and then I can engage in self-realization. So that was an example of like understanding where one's at. Okay, I might not be able to just give up everything and just become spiritual right now. I have a sort of lifestyle that I'm attached to, but there's a way to do it properly, that eventually if you sort of travel through it nicely and do everything in a spiritual way, that then eventually you naturally become detached and self-realized. But anyway, I was talking to someone yesterday about that when he mentioned King Yati.
Okay.
So anyway.
Should we continue? Any other points? No?
No, but I do like what you said, Gopal, because if you focus on where you're at with the correct consciousness, actually these attachments that we do have will naturally fade. The issue starts when you try and like throw all the things away as quickly as possible, which doesn't work. It doesn't work. When I first came to Krishna consciousness, I threw away a lot of my belongings for some strange reason. And actually a few years now, I've started like reclaiming and resourcing all of those items because I am heavily attached to them. So I wasn't ready to get rid of them. But in due course of time, it will be. And it's okay to be attached to certain things, because if we follow the process, naturally there will come a satiation point with those things. And we can continue on the path.
Yeah, it's called getting a thorn out with a thorn. So sometimes it's if you get a thorn stuck in your hand, sometimes it's so like you can't quite get it because maybe your fingers are too chubby or whatever. So the only way to get out is get another thorn and then pick it out.
It's so painful.
So similarly, like we might be sort of attached materially through lifetimes of being in this world. So the only way to really detach ourselves is to use this life in such a way artfully, so we nicely remove the attachment.
There's an art to living a human life.
Yeah. And that's where the whole Ayurveda thing comes in. That's where everything, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you really want to know how to do it, then the Vedas are the best. That's the best way to do it. But yeah, ultimately, chanting Hare Krishna is all you need to do. But chanting Hare Krishna is like, to do that properly. You can do that in a more refined way. You start chanting, then eventually you might realize that you need a certain lifestyle in order to most conducively chant. You might need a sort of, and Krishna talks about that in the 6th chapter about a yogi, how they try and live balanced in order, like you were saying there, doing, when you were doing yoga, to actually understand that, okay, the goal is Krishna. I was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. That seems to make sense. So that's the goal of yoga and living a balanced life, is you can just aid our spiritual practices.
I was just thinking, when I have like little bursts of giving things, like getting rid of things, like because I'm quite good at like holding on to things and picking up things that like, sorry, this isn't really related to your last point, but just on that point of like just throwing things away. And just before I joined the ashram, I was finding my room would just fill up with things without even being so conscious of it. Like finding like a golf. I found like a golf. What is it called when all the golf sticks in one of those anyway, like with all these golf clubs in. And I just took it and put it in my room. My mum was like, what are you doing? Like, when are you going to use that? Yeah. But I just take things, but then I'd have these like periods of just getting rid of everything, and just it felt really amazing actually. Just like maybe I'd even get rid of too many things that I might want to hold on to, but it was an amazing feeling, like just letting go of all these weights. And yeah.
Because you don't need anything.
Yeah.
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 Why do we then? Why do we just why do we just pick stuff up and grab it and take it and put it in our room? Or why do we do that?
But you're notorious for that. I've heard you're very into archiving. You got that from your father.
Okay, yeah, that might be it.
What's that? What's archiving?
Just like collecting things.
Collecting and archiving. So that's what Prema's notorious for. Sarah's notorious for being balanced and equipoised. Behind her back,
Notorious for being equipoised.
Yeah. We call her Mrs. Perfect.
No way.
Yeah, we do.
I'm a hoarder.
So
too.
Sarah lives quite far away, and she actually doesn't get. She basically has a really nice job, but she doesn't get to see the devotees that often. I've always wondered, how do you keep it going in spiritual life and stay so like inspired given your situation? Because a lot of us like wouldn't be able to live or survive if we weren't like literally just like living like with the devotees every single day. That's where we get our sustenance from. Whereas you're very equipoised, and you get your sustenance obviously from a real deep inner place. I'm just wondering,
I don't deserve those words.
because that's been quite a few years now. You've been doing
yeah,
that.
like sometimes with a great struggle, but definitely in a good place with like my spiritual practice at the moment. I don't know, just a nature that I do have anyway. I'm like, if I'm into something, like I will just like crack on and I'll do it. So like, obviously I love Krishna consciousness. So I'm very self-motivated in that way. Like also very goal oriented as well. And sometimes like chanting your 60 rounds, like feels like like a goal to achieve. So I think admittedly, that's probably like not necessarily like the best motivation, but I think that's something that's like keeps me going. But the association aspect is definitely very hard. Like when I come back here and I'm like around the devotees, because I haven't been here like for 2 months now, you just feel this sense of like, I don't know, it's just like this sense of community and home that I very much am missing like when I'm away from everyone. But I think like reading every day, I think reading actually is something that I would say like definitely keeps me afloat being away from the devotees, because you're connecting to Srila Prabhupada, and just like what you were saying, currently reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, and like literally every page is just nectar, and you're like, it's so relishable, and it's just so, like every page is like just wisdom and really reminds you like why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why chanting is important, and why prioritizing Krishna in your life is like the most important thing. So I would say like, I don't necessarily, and I think as well, I try and keep in mind that right now I'm in a place in my life where it's like a means to an end, and I know that the bigger picture is to serve here. And when T Krishna opens, I want to offer an amazing service in any capacity that I can, and like help with the Ayurveda things. And kind of to do that, I do need to be in like, I had to study. So to study, I had to earn money to pay for that. So I had to have a job, and I had to like just get my head down and earn money to, fund my studies. And I guess in some ways, like my material situation kind of needs to be, I guess, in a good place for like when I come here, it's just, I can, move here seamlessly and like offer a great service. So I guess it's just, although it's been hard sometimes in the moments, and especially last year, like I really didn't see the devotees that much, and I did struggle a lot, but really trying to keep like the end goal in mind. And it's like, right now you just have to struggle a little bit and sacrifice the association to hopefully in the future, provide an amazing service for Krishna into Krishna, So I would say like that probably helps motivate me, but yeah, it's definitely not always easy. And having lived in the ashram and now not lived in there for like 3 years, you actually appreciate the association a lot more. Whereas when I lived in the ashram, I was like so complacent. I was like, it's it's just there, and you probably appreciate it a lot less. Whereas like now I can really see what I have here, and I feel like I appreciate the community a lot more, and that time that I do spend with people when I do come, it's like, yeah, it just spiritually recharges me, and yeah, I just have a much deeper appreciation for everything that you guys have built here.
Nice.
Wow. I think like a lot of people are like really excited about getting involved with T Krishna, isn't it? Like just so many eyes on this project, and that, you know, it'll offer so many different pathways for people to get involved and to just share their expertise with others in that, under that umbrella of ultimately going deeper in their spiritual life, connecting with Krishna. It's a very exciting time.
Yeah, and I was just reflecting how I think, like you really get, I mean, I don't know, I really get the sense that you feel like, okay, it seems, you know, like I feel like Sarah's doing what she's meant to do at the minute, you know, and there's that, Krishna carries what you lack and he preserves what you have. Yoga Kshema Vamyaham. So you could tell she is very serious and sincere, and you could tell, you know, it's that idea of having a goal in mind, which is very powerful. I mean, I'm very goal orientated as well. Like it's almost chanting around and stuff. I've worked out that's the only way I can actually function. Is like I need to have like my little habit share, and like I need to tick off my goals and stuff. Like I'm so. Don't know if it is mode of passion or, you know, like I think it is. I can't function anyway, and I've got to be obsessed about something, and I've got to have it like if I'm not completely obsessed about something and I have something I've really getting into, like almost like crazily, then I just become really like just nothing. But yeah, I think because I really feel like Sarah's doing exactly what she's meant to do. You know, I think Takanath and, you know, her spiritual authorities were encouraging her to do what she's meant to do. And I think if you're doing what you're meant to do, then there might be like some difficulties there, but Krishna will help in so many ways and give us sort of encouragement. And but yeah, that was really nice, Sarah. Okay.
Nice. Just on the note of you're saying that you love reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and that's a main inspiration. I was thinking, I've heard Gopala is Gopala's a really, really avid reader, and I was just wondering, obviously you've been, you know, practicing Bhakti Yoga now for like...
Talking to me?
Yeah. Hello. For like 17 or 18 years now, isn't it?
Oh my God. Wow.
I don't know.
So I'm just wondering, like, what... If you could speak on your experience with reading Srila Prabhupada's books and...
Over 18 years too, that's a long...
I don't think it's 18. What year is it now?
2026.
17 years. So, no, maybe 18, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've always loved reading the books. And like giving the books to people and then reading them was always like a very tasty combination for me. There was a time in my spiritual life where I went through like some difficulty, and I felt like I needed a boost. I needed something to, you know, maybe I was like 6-7 years in, and I thought I need something to really like, I don't know, like, you know, when you feel like, you know, I need to go to the next level now. Like when I used to go to Beavers. You ever go to Beavers?
Well,
You're a kid?
What is Beavers? I got a flashback.
Beavers, Scouts, Guides.
Yeah. I remember I was going to Beavers, and I was like a bit old. I was like, I don't know where I'm going off in this now, but I was like, I should have gone up to Scouts or whatever the next one was, but they didn't. I was a bit shy, and they didn't really know how old I was. And then some kid, it was like his birthday, and he was younger than me, and it was like this whole celebration for him, and then they moved him on. And I was like stuck at Beavers, and I was like a year old, and I was like, oh, I should be going to Scouts. Like I'm just stuck in. So I was like out in spiritual life. I was like still in Beavers, but I wanted to go to Scouts. You know? And it was Vaisheshika Prabhu who was doing this thing. He was reading like a certain number of pages of Prabhupada's books every day. And I was reading so many other books. I was reading lots of Sri Ramraj's books and some, you know, but there was something about, like you were saying, Pali, there was something about going back to the basics. I went back to just the Bhagavatam, page 1. And I just have this goal orientated. Again, it was like very goal orientated, like this many pages every day. And I just put the bookmark where I meant to end, give myself that time, and I'll just read out loud carefully to myself, page by page. And it was like, I always say it's like the sun had come into the room. It's like your heart was being steam cleaned. He says here about like the real meditation is meant to clean the mirror of the mind. So it was like just steam cleaning this mirror of the mind. Mm-hmm. And I was a new Bhakta again. It's like I discovered Krishna all over again. Mm. And it was such a powerful experience that I then wanted to share that with everyone. And that was something that was very powerful. Mm. But, so those are the things that really like, and sort of creating these little challenges for yourself in spiritual life to really like lean in, like do something that's really like, almost like testing yourself. Don't be happy, create like goals where you have to like stretch a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you always feel like you're progressing is something that's really like exciting, make spiritual life exciting. Yeah. And it's like any relationship, like here's like again, we're just discussing this first paragraph, but try to understand one's relationship with the Supreme. It's like any relationship, you can't just, like even at my dad, it's like my mother and father, it's like there's something anniversary, or it's like my mum's birthday. So my dad says, don't tell your mum this, but I don't know, they probably won't watch it. But, I plan, you've had something romantic planned, and they've been, married for so many decades. But it's like that. You never, so like any relationship, no matter how, you never want it to get stale. Mm. You always need something to like jazz it up a little bit, do something romantic. And I mean, my wife hears this, she'd be like, what are you on about? You don't do anything like but that's what I should be doing. It's like do something that's like, a little bit special now and then. Mm. So if you can do that sort of thing with Krishna, it's like do something that's just a little bit special that sort of jazzes up the relationship, that doesn't make it stale. Because if you have a relationship with, like Dave Ramita Swami makes this point, you could have a husband could, and you get these like billionaires who you could buy a nice house for your wife or get the nice cars and get it all kitted out with like home stereo systems, etc. and this is and that's. But if you never talk to your wife, or never, speak to her, ask how she is, then that relationship's not going to last very long. So similarly in spiritual life, if we just focus on the externals and just focus on like even building buildings or big projects or things like that, but we don't actually spend that time with Krishna when chanting our rounds or reading, then sometimes that can be a big mistake that we make in our spiritual lives. Mm. So, but like that, and just having friends, Jacob I remember, I don't know if Jacob would listen to this, but he was saying like, when he wanted to move into the ashram, he was like, all my friends are the devotees, Oh. It's like, these are where all my friends are. Oh. Like, it just makes sense, I think that's a nice point as well. Like if you're struggling, then sometimes all the philosophy in the world, dude, it doesn't. You need devotees to go to and just reveal your mind to, reveal your heart to. And Prabhupada's there in the books as well. But
so true.
I think that's probably why we all went deeper in, isn't it? Like the friendships. It's probably the main thing, isn't it? That gets everyone like to go much deeper into it. I mean, you may be searching for spiritual life in some way or other, but then the relationships with the devotees in the community is what really takes things to another level and really pulls you in. It's because you realize like that association with them is so good for you. It's like so powerful, and it's exactly what you've been really looking for what feels to be longer than just one lifetime, real care and real support. People who really want the best for you, and they're not looking to get something from you, which is up until that point, that's all we're used to in the material world, basically, is relationships where someone wants something from us in some way, shape or form, or expects us to fulfill some desire. Yeah.
That's what one devotee said. He said, when you get devotees, you get real friends because they don't want anything from you. Because they don't have anything. You know, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
like you're saying, you just give everything up. So it's like, we don't want anything from anyone else because we don't have anything. You know what I mean? Even all the...
I think Prema wants your Sergio Tacchini jacket.
What's that?
Do you
Give it
want-
up.
Oh, yeah, anyone wants this jacket. But for me...
It is cool. It's really cool.
It's cool. That's nice as well, because I think here, in my opinion, I am biased, but T Krishna is like a very special community, and we're all like really, like a family, we're all very, very close. And so I think, yeah, like that really, I think almost contributes. Like you're saying, like the friendships are really important, but and I feel that so strongly here. Like we're all just this tight knit family mood, which I think is why people come to T Krishna and they don't leave.
Yeah, no one talks bad about anyone else, or
No.
you know what I mean. Apart from me, but I'll say it to your face, you know. Prema. But no one really, you know what I mean. It's quite a nice like.
No, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Gopala did a really nice exercise in class the other morning
Oh.
where he gave everyone like a name of a person in the room, and then you had to privately write something nice about that person.
That was nice.
And that was amazing. And I was thinking, yeah, when you're in the company of devotees all the time, naturally being an old rotten human being, we start to really, I guess no one else does here, but you start to like, because you want to blame someone and something for your problems. So you start blaming the devotees and you start nitpicking behavior and whatnot. But the minute you step outside of devotee association, you spend a day somewhere and then you actually come back to the devotees, it's like, what the hell am I doing? Like, these people are so kind, so amazing. It's actually just us bringing our own bag of shite.
I'm gonna have to.
Boop that out.
To the situation. It was really liberating to write my glorification for the person I was given, because it's challenging as well. It's challenging to, I guess, again, just for me, it's hard to be so nice. And you feel like, well, if I give away something, say something nice about them, then I'm not going to seem as amazing as them anymore. Do you know what I mean? But it's not the case.
Yeah, I think everyone. I mean, I got all the messages on my phone, and I was sort of sending them out and to those who they were about, sort of thing. And then people are trying to guess, like, is this such and such?
I'm not telling you.
But it was because that's an interesting exercise, because it shows like you can choose to think good about people, and I think everyone probably felt when they wrote, they've probably felt good after writing their little glorification.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh yeah, if I actually think good about others, I feel good. And it's something like that exercise showed that you can sit down and choose. You can actually choose to do it. And anytime you can choose that, if you're sitting on the bus on the way to something, you can choose to think about, pick someone and start thinking, like, what would I do if I had to do that exercise about them? What if I got this person's name? What would I have to write then? You can choose to do that, and you will force yourself to be happy and open-hearted. Because our natural default mode is to try and think negatively about people, maybe in order to protect ourselves, in order to it's a dog-eat-dog world. But it's sort of, you can choose to actually be broad-minded and broad-hearted. And it was like, it was a nice little exercise.
It was.
That's something I always appreciated about Krishna consciousness as well. Is like Prajalpa and speaking badly about devotees just wasn't tolerated. Whereas like a lot of experience I've had, like maybe speaking to people outside of the community, like a lot of people unfortunately will bond over gossip or like speaking badly about other people, because somehow it just makes it. I don't know why they do it, but maybe it makes them feel.
Someone described it once as a very high form of sense gratification. That made a lot of sense then.
Yeah, it's so true. Whereas like And then you come here and like we're so encouraged to like, yeah, glorify the devotees. And yeah, Krishna just doesn't tolerate like speaking badly. It's like, it's one of the greatest offenses, you know, speaking badly about a devotee. And it's like, you know, truly cultivating that mood of like tolerance and compassion to other people. And it's nice that that's like a big focus within the movement, because, you know, devotees might have a moan here and there about each other, but you don't sit around just like completely criticizing someone, really unnecessary. You know, you'll speak maybe just to like reveal your mind to someone if something's bothered you, but yeah, that mood of just like gossiping about each other just isn't the vibe. And that's something I've just always appreciated about like the Krishna conscious community.
It's such a good vibe here. Like, honestly, like, everyone is just so much respect between everyone. Thanks to you. And thanks to Mishrani, thanks to Tarakanath for cultivating that beautiful family mood. It's just like fair play. You've really saved us.
Yeah, fair play. Honestly, it's something I stepped into it. You know, it was exactly like this when I joined. You know, you had Radhi, you know, Danda, Prema, Gopinath, and obviously Tarakanath, Mishrani, Sadashivas, you know, there's Suki Krishna. It was exactly like this when I joined, you know, and it's all I've ever known, like, you know, so I've been really lucky.
Wow.
So I might have hung around, so then when people join after me, they might have the illusion that I had anything to do with it, but honestly, I've enjoyed this from the start, and that's why I've been just so lucky in my spiritual life. So,
and you quoted that before on the Sankirtan Hour podcast. It's always been the actual mood of our lineage is that Advaita Acharya cries out, you know, was it Advaita Acharya that cries out, "Let our family increase," in the middle of the kirtan hall, and when they're all having those indoor kirtans, and that was his mood. Is just like, let's bring everyone into this family, and so that's what we've got going on in Wales. But we're just always around the clock. I mean, you especially, you're always just 24/7 taxing your mind. How can we increase this family? How can we bring others, you know, give others like a nice place, you know, to like practice and have these nice relationships. I just think about Lord Shiva, because I just read in the 4th canto, it's described that Lord Shiva, he's so magnanimous that even if someone is full of bad qualities, he will look for the one good quality and magnify that by so much. And there's also the bumblebee looking for the nectar, and the fly looking for the open sores, you know, so we can like choose which one we want to be, like looking for the nectar or looking for the faults essentially in everyone. Just some little thoughts there.
yeah, because Prabhupada said you'll always find fault. He says part of being a person that you'll always have some fault. He said even in the spiritual world, those who were perfect, they still have faults. Because he said it's part of being a person. And if you want to find if your vision is like, oh, you want to find something perfect with no faults, he said that's impersonalism. So it's a lower level of self-realization. So rather than just looking, because you're looking for faults, because you're looking for something that's faultless. He said rather, if you just look for the good qualities, you know, no one criticizes the moon because it has spots on it. It's so beautiful and effulgent and cooling. Everyone appreciates the moon. So similarly, like even though someone might have some faults, those things shouldn't even be looked at. One should look at what are the good qualities of a person. We should, you know, that takes some. We have to train ourselves to think like that, because it's not, because actually, and that was one of the things one devotee said to us was in the years ago. He said, as you got a nice family mood here, as you grow, that's going to be harder to keep. But you have to try and keep it. So that's something like, when it's just a few of us, but as we start to grow, then more responsibility comes on each person to try and like keep that family mood of like trying to love each other. You know what I mean? So if it's like 10, 20, 30, 40, but then when it gets to like 100, 200, you know, these are the sort of things that it's going to be, we have to more just work out how to do it.
Alrighty. Thank you all so much for joining today's podcast. Please tune into the next episode. And please join us for an in-person event. We have events every week. And you can come and very much be a part of this community.
Also, we have Dave Amrita Swami visiting.
Yeah, that's a flyer over there.
I'll post it on screen.
Dave Amrita Swami is coming on, well, we're actually picking him up this weekend.
Yeah, the 20th.
What day is that? Sunday. Okay.
So there'll be talks throughout the week and stuff. And
They'll be giving morning classes and there'll be a message and we'll let you know when what's happening. But yeah, they'll be giving some morning classes, maybe a couple of evening, might be in Bayview on the not this Friday but next Friday evening maybe for the kirtan and stuff he was saying. So we'll see. Stick around.
Great. Haribol!
Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatyaja Satarini